Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And you know, if you've been listening to this channel for any length of time, that we're kind of fed up with Disney. And we're not the only ones. We're going to talk about some pushback from some of Disney's legacy fans that they're calling out Disney for basically dissing them.
Yeah, well, I would say we're legacy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I've been going since I was a little kid. I mean, God.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about this because now people are starting to push back. Some of the Disney diehards that have been supporting this company for decades are pushing back against some of the changes, the price gouging, the language being used to describe them. Basically, Disney thinks you're just going to pay up.
You're just pay pigs to Disney.
You're pay pigs. Josh D'Amaro has been referring to old school Disney fans as legacy fans, and he's also been referring to annual pass holders as unfavorable.
Well, that actually was, I think, Bob Chapek is an unfavorable attendance mix.
Unfavorable attendance
Which means
mix.
they aren't making as much money as they want to.
Right. So this is a company-wide attitude. You know, that's what I'm saying. Like this is Disney's attitude. You're a legacy fan, you're an old head, but you're gonna keep paying anyway. And it's unfavorable if you get in cheaper, because what they want are the newer, younger, richer pay pigs.
And the thing is, you know, the people that they're mocking and doing this to, when Disney World was shut down and then they reopened and people couldn't travel or they were afraid to travel, you know who came to the parks and kept it going? People that had annual passes that were local. Do you know what happened at Disneyland when they had, like they couldn't open, so they opened parts of the downtown Disney district and they opened some of the Disney park down there for shopping. You had to pay money for the honor of going shopping and buying food in that area. And the people that were the Disney fans, the ones that kept it going, were the ones who did that. So the people that they're shitting on now were the ones that were there when they didn't have anybody else.
So we're going to talk about this article I came across. This is an opinion piece on the Diz boards.
I agree.
By Zoe Wood. And if the Diz boards sound familiar, they are one of the largest, they might actually be the largest Disney fan message boards on the internet, run by Pete Werner, who is actually, or was for the longest time, the top travel agent. And he actually has said for years now that Disney is holding its fans and its customers in disdain, that they think that there's an endless supply of money that they can shake out of people. And he's actually been, last time I checked, he's been telling people to go to Universal instead. They're going to get more bang for the buck.
Well, here's the thing. The most loyal fans are the ones that they're referring to in negative type ways.
Yeah. Yeah. And Pete Werner, I mean, he was also calling Galaxy's Edge a failure, but hey, it was all us.
Yeah, we
did
too.
Us.
We got so much shit for that.
It was all us. It was just us here at Clownfish TV. We're the only haters on the internet. So we're gonna talk about this, and we're gonna see more and more of this, I think, as Disney makes it very clear they don't want you anymore.
No.
They don't. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Over 275,000 subs. If you want more objective Disney news, go out to piratesandprincesses.net. And if you're a fan of animation, check out Crimson Wren Volume 1 from Clownfish Studios, penned by the amazingly talented Geeky Sparkles.
Nice.
With a little bit of help from me, and also art by Jose Garcia. See what I did there?
Yes.
See what I did there?
Yes.
All right. So anyway, what kicked this video off was this article from Zoe Wood on the Diz. Excuse me, legacy fans, we might just be Disney's only way forward. And she basically goes on and rips Josh D'Amaro a new one. And there was this article in the Wall Street Journal.
It's funny though, because Josh D'Amaro was the one everybody was like liking Josh D'Amaro. And now since Josh D'Amaro's in there making these comments, they're turning on Josh D'Amaro too.
Yeah, they're turning on Josh D'Amaro.
They're all just corporate shills anyway.
Yep. So her complaint is the price gouging and the changes in the park. She said, we're a collective doormat. She said, you know, they're going to look to increase their revenue. In some ways, this serves us as much as it does them. For if they were not a profitable company, the doors would close and Disney would be lost forever. It also goes toward keeping the parks updated with new rides and attractions, as well as environmental and community initiatives. If I'm honest, I don't even have an issue with the money grab that a visit to the parks has become in a way. That's what I know I signed up for. It's true. For me, it comes down to avoidable little changes that detract from what we knew Disney to be. Now, if simply not being a collective doormat means we need a new passive-aggressively condescending title like legacy fans, then take a seat, Josh, tomorrow. We need to have a little chat. Because that's their attitude. They're like, yeah, those annual pass holders, the unfavorable mix of annual pass holders and legacy fans, that's not what we want. And if you look at their marketing, that's not what they want, because they're not marketing to old head Disney fans.
Well, even when they brought back the magic keys for Disneyland, they raised the prices and they added a lot more blockout dates to it. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to make sure that annual pass holders buy the annual passes, but if they want to come in during times they can make the most money, you have to pay for a ticket extra on top of that. That's what they're trying to do. So it's undesirable attendance mix, because it's undesirable for them making all the money they could possibly make off you.
Yeah, so, and she's not that old. I checked, I thought, well, maybe she's older. She said, no, they've talked about the parks pushing out the golden generation with the eye-rollingly necessary technology, because they have made booking a Disney trip very, very hard. And if you're not tech savvy, it's going to be almost impossible for you to do what you want to do, right? The problem seems to be escalating. Now they want to segregate their market into groups, those who they believe will visit infrequently and spend the most money with the slightest complaint, and those who continue to return consistently but also require a certain standard to be upheld and to be appeased. Now, look, Josh, some people will never be happy, and 50% increase would make them, or 50-cent increase would make them turn red. I'll give you that, though the large majority of us, whom Disney has so patronizingly referred to as legacy fans, we just want to restore what we had. Not the price or necessarily the perks, but the value, both monetarily and emotionally, that you felt your vacation was an investment into something that lasts a lifetime. This is what we have talked about at length for the last 4 or 5 years on this channel, because we were huge Disney fans. We are still fans of classic Disney. We still have a lot of good memories of Disney parks and Disneyana and all this stuff from years. I mean, hell, we worked on Disney projects for years. We've got an entire room full of Disney swag merch and
I write a blog,
vintage stuff. So anybody that says Clownfish TV hates Disney can piss off. That's not true.
We hate the way it is currently, much like this author.
Yes. The Disney that we remember started to die about 5 or 8 years ago. And this was before Bob Chapek. Everybody blames Bob Chapek.
Yeah, Iger started it first.
Iger started it first when they started to pivot away from classic IP to stuff that they were buying, the Marvel and the Star Wars. And
and then some of the choices that were made. And when people complain about, like, people weren't getting paid, that was under Iger too. And Chapek is just doubling, tripling down on what has already started. Yeah,
Chapek is actually the worst case scenario, because Bob Iger was better at hiding the disdain for the customers. But we've seen him slip a couple times. Like, he was referring to Expedition Everest as just some stupid roller coaster. So, I mean, there have been some slip-ups here and there, right? So she says she was on board when almost all the significant changes over the last 10 years made everyone else squeal.
Yeah, well, I wasn't on board.
I was not on board. I didn't fuss when you took away free parking at resorts, or that was shit. That was garbage. For how much you pay, that was garbage. Or even when you added Genie Plus. And
also garbage.
Also garbage. And while I had a quiet chuckle at the misguided idea of the new Magic Band Plus, I didn't give you a hard time about that either. However, this recent statement basically calling out anyone over the age of 35 who remembers a time when Disney meant attention to detail and inexplicable delight, telling us to get with the program simply because we don't accept the consistent excuses for decline in common value, is a joke. You've jumped the gun here on the whole legacy fan speech, and I have to tell you, mate, you don't want to tick us off just yet.
And here's the thing, it was funny though, this person took these opinions over to, like, the annual pass holder boards, some of the Disney boards I'm on. If you complain about anything, especially because there is definitely a decline in how the cast members are, not all of them, a lot of them are still great, but you get these ones in there that clearly don't want to be there and they're being assholes, and you're seeing some different things get changed, and it's not, I mean, when we were there last time, the one woman that was at the one attraction was like, it's like being really rude to the guests. I saw her do it. And I was like, well, these people, we knew what to do, but they might not have known what to do. They might be new. And I've seen it firsthand. But you say anything on these boards and they come down on you like you just, slap them in the face. Like, how dare you? They might be having a bad day. You're probably the problem. It's probably all you. Anybody has any complaints, and some of them are very valid, you're not allowed to have a complaint. You're only allowed to say good, positive things about Disney. And that's the attitude they encourage.
Yeah.
With the meetings and stuff.
Yeah, and look, I saw it too with some of the media events I did. The last couple I did, where their media managers or social media managers, PR people, they were like in their early 20s.
Well, just that you weren't allowed to say anything.
You weren't allowed to say anything.
And then you said in meetings, like if you had a point you had to bring up that needed something done about, you had to say something positive first, and then you can bring up the issue at hand.
Yeah. You basically have to drown out the negativity with something positive. And I'm sorry, Walt saw problems, he fixed the problems. He looked for the positive, but he was basically like, I'm positive this is a problem. Let's look for a solution to fix it. And that's not the attitude of Disney now. And it's, again, this company is not Walt's company anymore. And this is what's so disheartening about it. We really saw it. We really saw it.
It's about money. It's all it's about is money.
It's always been about
It's much more than new. At least they tried to give you something for the money.
Yeah, at least it was worth it. It used to be that, yes, we could justify spending the money we've spent over the years on Disney because we're like, it's worth it. It's worth it.
And if you spend a lot of money, it'll be better for you. If you buy the Genie Plus, it's going to be better for you. You pay for parking, it's going to be better for you. You buy, you get a tour guide, it's going to be better for you. All these upcharges, you stay at a deluxe, it's going to be better for you or DVC or whatever, because you're going to get those extra hours on the big parks. It's all better for you. That's the point, that they're trying to make it that either you spend the money, or you're miserable, and that's on you.
So let's talk about this too, because this is very true. This is something I was thinking about just the other week. Legacy is a word that by definition means something passed on. Legacy is a term that my web hosting company uses to describe an old platform they no longer support. Do you no longer support us, Josh? Would you like us to stop supporting you? Before you answer that with an entitled self-assurance that the money will keep rolling in regardless, think about what qualifies one as a legacy fan. I imagine being of a certain age and having an affinity with how Disney was run in the past is a critical factor in this description. Let's look at the socioeconomics of it for a moment. Younger families tend to have less disposable income. Their wages tend to be lower, having spent less time in the workforce unless they have reached a more prestigious level in their career. The legacy fans often fund those expensive vacations, parents and grandparents splurging to bring the whole family together, attempting to recreate what we knew as kids. We are the ones who understand the true value of Disney beyond what we see dollar for dollar. We are the ones who know the impact this type of vacation and experience can have on families. We redefine the term Disney value to mean more than just what you can provide, but what we can create for ourselves in the parks. Do you want us to pass on that torch to a generation that hasn't yet had the chance to give a duck about that emotional investment? Ouch. Ouch.
I just think it's funny. I would have said I wouldn't have said give a duck, but
give a duck. I would
have said the actual word.
Yeah, they said, how do you expect to fund them for the next 20 years? Talking about the skyrocketing prices in the younger market.
Oh, they're pricing everybody out.
Yeah, they said it's not going to happen.
But then they're pricing people out, a lot of people out, and people that can't afford it, they're basically telling them to F off. Sorry, to not give a fuck.
Well, they're chasing a younger demographic, which is fickle. Again, if somebody doesn't have an emotional attachment to going to the parks, they're not going to go back again.
But it's misleading too, though, because the younger demographics that you see there, like the influencers that you always see at Disney and the promoting the Disney stuff, usually have annual passes because they live near the parks.
So they're undesirable.
Right. They're also, they're the undesirable people that they don't want.
Or unfavorable.
Unfavorable attendance
riff-raff.
Mix. They don't want.
Now, this is funny, though, right here, because this is what we've been saying. We aren't your legacy. We're your foundation. We are your repeat business, the ones that come every year without fail and bring our friends and bring our family, creating new fans out of those people. We are your market. This is true of I want to stop right here. This is true of any fandom, not just Disney Parks fans, but any fandom that has supported a franchise for decades and bought all the merch and done all the whatever. Right. And only to have the company turn around and say, yeah, we don't want you anymore.
And you should be doing it in a way that you welcome those people back, but then try to open it to new people. That's the best way to do business.
Mm-hmm. We are your market, and we might be your only way forward if things keep going the way they are. If you don't want to rely on those once-in-a-lifetime vacationers to spend a fortune on their one visit, you don't want to do that. You need those annual pass holders to keep coming back and generating more opportunities for market growth. They're the ones that can see through the dollar value to the other side, and therein lies a commitment, nostalgia, a drive that propels guests to keep coming back and recreating those moments with new friends and family. So basically, it's like, why are you chasing these people that might spend $10,000 or $15,000 one time on this vacation when we've been here year after year,
Spending far more than that.
My advice for Disney is this. As a company, take a long, hard look at where you want to be, then work out exactly how the once-in-a-lifetime vacation guests of Gen Z and Gen Alpha will carry you when all of us legacy fans find something else to invest in. Is this really what Walt Disney worked so hard for? I don't know, because they're basically deleting Walt from the parks. To all who come to this happy place.
Right.
To all the unfavorables.
Maybe they took it out because it's not so happy anymore. Because they said about people being shoved in like sardines.
I think we're going to see a lot more of this because the diehards that have, again, that connection to Disney, they're going to be, what she said, they're going to be over 30. They're going to be people that grew up going to the parks. They're the ones who keep coming back year after year. You're going to have people come in like, oh, I want to check out, oh my God, Star Wars and blah, blah, blah. And then they get down there and like, oh, it was really expensive and really hot. And I'll go back someday.
I talked to Tab a couple times. I've talked to a couple different people. And both times they said that they went to Disney one time. And then we're talking they went recently. One time. It was they got to ride like 2 or 3 rides. That was they always go to the Magic Kingdom too, which was the one park you probably shouldn't go to. Well, I don't know, Hollywood's worse now. But at the time, Magic Kingdom was worse. And they rode like a couple rides, didn't know how to use any of the stuff, paid all that money. They were like, I'll never go back because it was such a confusing experience. It was hot. I couldn't get to ride anything. It was a waste of money. And on and on and on. And that's what these people do. They might go spend a lot of money once and then they see to them, it's like, I don't know how to do any of this shit. It's a waste of money. And they won't come back.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the annual pass holders and stuff are the ones out there telling their friends and showing them how to use the stuff. They're the ones that are coming in every time something new comes in to try it, to see a new show, to spend their money. And I just think that you can please who you have and still bring a new audience. And some of the things they're asking for aren't that hard.
Love the one you're with.
Love the one you're with.
Love the one you're with. Well, that's it. You dance with who brought you, right? This is Disney parks have made it this far because of the unfavorable legacy fans.
Well, they keep chasing influencers. And like I said, they're influencers because they have annual passes and they're there all the time. You take those annual passes away, especially at Disneyland, I'd say 2/3 of that influencer stuff's gone.
They were freaking out when they were talking that they might not bring the annual passes back. I remember.
They were having withdrawal for not going to the park for several months because it was closed.
Well, some people, they actually moved to Orlando or moved to Anaheim just to do the Disney lifestyle thing. And then they found out the hard way that Disney didn't love them back.
Yeah, I wouldn't move to bank on that if I were you.
Hell no. Hell no. So there it is, guys. I think we're going to see a lot more of this. You're going to see a lot of people that have supported this company for decades turn on it. And again, Pete Warner's been getting a lot of crap for it, but he is, I don't know if he still is, but he was at one point in time the top Disney travel agent. It goes against his best interests as a business owner whose business is Disney to dunk on Disney, and he has been doing it for the last couple of years. Now, he might have gotten to a place where he's made so much money off of it, he doesn't care anymore, but it's got to be disheartening to see something you've dedicated your life to, and he has been doing it for like 20, 30 years. Dedicated his life to this company and getting people there and helping them create memories to see them treat their legacy fans this way. Mm-hmm. So Disney, I don't know what to tell you. They might be in for a rude awakening at some point.
People actually have to stand their ground.
They have to.
They're not going to.
No, they'll complain, but that's what we said. Like, nothing is going to change. They complain about the way they're being treated, but they always go back.
Yeah, sadly I have to too sometimes, but that's because I do it literally for a job.
We do not go nearly, now here's the weird thing, like we can actually go as much as we want to, as often as we want to, and we don't go very often. We're pass holders, we've been pass holders for years. Like last year, did we even go at all last year?
No, we didn't even go once. We were supposed to be fair. We were supposed to, there's 3 trips and there's something that happened each time, so we had to cancel. And it was not Disney's fault. Actually.
Yeah, it wasn't. But 5 or 6, I don't even have a desire to go. 5 or 6 years ago, we would have been down there like every month.
We were down there like
literally
every month.
Down there.
That was because it was our job to go there like every month.
I don't even care anymore. I really don't. I could go for 10 years without going to Disney. And
I know I'll have to go at some point because I have to cover stuff for my job. But I go down, get it done, and leave.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we spent the last couple trips, we spent a lot of time just in the hotel room, just like, yeah, whatever. When are we leaving? When are we going?
Well, I got it down to science now. We could be out there by afternoon and done everything anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, we're going to wrap this one up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.